What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you didn't see, Bungie actually put out an image today of some of the new Season 15 weapon mods that'll be coming to next season, Season 15. So again, we have anti-barrier auto rifle, unstoppable, linear, and fusion rifle. So that's like combined into one, which is very nice. Overload bow, again, which won't be too bad. And then unstoppable, pulse rifle, and sidearm. So in today's video, I pretty much just want to go over some of the weapons that I'd highly recommend getting and getting potentially good rolls on. I'm not going to cover a lot of the raid specific weapons, especially stuff like Last Wish and, Guard Salvation. If you want to go in and get those weapons, fantastic. But I did want to go over some weapons that you can get throughout the world through override activities, through random drops, prime engrams, umbral engrams, etc., etc. There's multiple ways you can get these weapons, and there's going to be a lot of weapons I want to cover, including exotics as well. So first up, I wanted to cover some of the auto rifles that I think will be good in the next season. Again, first one being Chroma Rush, easily one of the best auto rifles to come with Season of the Splicer. Again, you can get Kill Clip and Rampage with backup perks like Feeding Frenzy and Subsistence. Again, great PvE rolls. Personally, my roll, Rampage, Feeding Frenzy, and a Pentamag, amazing. Like, I have no complaints about this weapon. Yeah, easily one of the best. You can get it in override activities and the expunged activities, and you can also use the Corrupted Key again to get a roll that could potentially come with both these perks. Maybe you could even go with Adrenaline Junkie to be able to get that extra damage from grenade kills if you're rocking a grenade build, but I'd highly recommend trying to get a Chroma Rush 100%. Next, let's talk about the Number. The Number is a future Wool Colt auto rifle that you can get randomly. Again, not very highly it can drop, and you can't really farm it compared to something like Chroma Rush, but it does come with a perk called Multi-Kill Clip. This is the only reason I'm putting it in this category, is because Multi-Kill Clip is easily one of the best PvE perks to use. Like, you can get a kill, reload, multi-kill clip times 1, you kill 3 enemies or more, multi-kill clip times 3, and again, every time you get kills and then reload, it refreshes multi-kill clip, which is actually very nice, and that's the only reason I'm putting it in this category. Yeah, that's the only reason. Next up, let's talk about the best auto rifle from the past couple of seasons in general, the Gnawing Hunger. We all know this auto rifle, especially if you did a Season of Arrivals. This thing was completely goated. Now, again, it does come with great damage perks. You Rampage, Multi-Kill Clip, Swashbuckler, and Kill Clip, all in this category. Like, you have a very high chance of getting a weapon that can come with a good damage dealing perk. And again, we have perks like Subsistence, Field Prep. Not really good for the ammo thing, but if you crouch, you get a fast reload. Also, something like Auto-Loading Holster as well. You put it back, you get the ammo refilled. This thing is just disgusting in general. Like, you have a very high chance of getting a damage perk on this weapon. That's the main reason I put this in here. Next, let's talk about Arc Logic. Again, this is a revamped moon weapon that came back. And the main reason I wanted to bring this up is because it can come with the new perk Frenzy. Again, you be in combat for an extended period of time, gives you increased handling, reload, and damage, which is actually very good. Again, it also comes with Adrenaline Junkie as well. But this is a revamped weapon. You can get it. It is farmable on the moon. A little tough to farm, but if you want to put in the time to get it, go for it. And again, Frenzy, amazing perk that came with Season of the Chosen. Highly recommend getting weapons that have Frenzy on them. Let's talk about False Promises, an auto rifle from Season of Arrivals. Main thing here, it does come with Swashbuckler and Rampage. Potentially, you could even use Surrounded. But again, you also have something like Overflow, right? Where you run over ammo, it automatically reloads it. We do have Feeding Frenzy. We do have Subsistence. Again, great perks here to have in general. Pretty easy to get. I get plenty of them throughout the season, so having one drop randomly is pretty likely. Let's talk about the 7 Seraph Carbine. So again, it can come with Swashbuckler and Rampage. Good perks here, 4 times the charm, auto-loading holster, and threat detector. Again, all solid perks in PvE. I feel like its effectiveness as a weapon is average, but the main thing here is to be able to create those Warmind cells if you're maining a Warmind cell build. Next, we have the Forward Path. This is a Iron Banner auto rifle. Now you're like, David, Iron Banner, that's a PvP activity. Well, it comes with Multi-Kill Clip and Feeding Frenzy. So I would try to get this weapon with those 2 perks so you can use it in something like PvE. Again, you can also get Swashbuckler on it as well. But again, I actually have this roll with Feeding Frenzy, Multi-Kill Clip. Again, disgusting. If you don't have a Chroma Rush roll, highly recommend trying to get one of these things as well. If you're looking for exotics or already have it, maybe try out Monte Carlo. Like, you can get your melees back faster and all that great stuff. Let me just read off some of the perks. Monte Carlo method. Dealing damage with this weapon reduces your melee cooldown and grants a chance to fully charge your melee ability with each kill. Fluted barrel, high caliber rounds, Markov chain. This is pretty much Swashbuckler. Like, every time you get a kill or a melee kill, ups your damage. Again, and then melee kills automatically like grant ammo for this weapon, so it reloads. So it's like mixed between Swashbuckler and Grey Robber and stuff like that, which is very nice. Composite stock, again, a good auto rifle overall. It does sacrifice the exotic slot, but I really like Monte Carlo in general. Next, let's talk about the unstoppable linear fusion and fusion rifles. First, I do want to cover fusion rifles. So let's talk about the Null Composure. Again, this is the ritual weapon for Season of the Splicer. And to be honest, I don't use this very often, but I feel like next season it could come in handy. Again, it's rapid fire frame, so deeper ammo reserves and faster reload when magazine is empty. Fluted barrel, projection fuse for range, and then we have feeding frenzy or heating up, and then reservoir burst or high impact reserves. So to be honest, PvE, feeding frenzy, and reservoir burst. Again, if you don't know what reservoir burst is, if you get a kill on somebody when the battery is full, it causes an explosion and does more damage. So you want to get a kill, reload. So again, this thing could be good. With Unstoppable, you will have to aim with this weapon for like a second or two to be able to have the perk actually proc, but still, I think this thing could potentially pack a punch. The next best one I'd recommend is the Plug 1, which is a Nightfall exclusive reward. Again, this can also come with an Adept version. Again, mainly here for Reservoir Burst, like I talked about before. You can get it with Adrenaline Junkie for a grenade build, potentially. So, it'd be okay. But you do have Feeding Frenzy, which will be a great perk for this as well. So again, Reservoir Burst, get a kill, reload, get a kill, reload, be able to blow up those enemies. And again, Null Compulsure is actually a Void Fusion, and this one's an Arc Fusion. So maybe either one of these could come in handy depending on the activity you are doing. Let's talk about the Trinary system. This is a random drop from Gambit, actually. As you can tell, the perk pool is huge. Again, damage-wise, you can get Swashbuckler, you can get Multi-Kill Clip, you can get Kill Clip. Again, you can get Auto-Loading, Feeding Frenzy, like Ambitious Assassin. There's a multitude of perks here. The only problem is that the odds of you actually getting a roll that has the damage perks that you want on it, I feel like aren't going to be very high, unfortunately. So that'd be the only bad thing about this weapon. Let's talk about the main ingredient, a Vanguard Fusion Rifle. You can get this to drop fairly easily from what I understand. But again, it can come with Rampage, can come with Kill Clip. We'd have two great perks here. Again, we have Auto-Loading Holster. So again, solid fusion overall. We also have the Dream Breaker Fusion, which is a revamped moon weapon. And it can come with Frenzy. Again, we've already talked about Frenzy. Great perk. Can come with Surrounded. So it can come with Slideways as well. So when you slide, you actually reload the ammo, which is very nice on this thing. The only problem is that this fusion was horrible back in the day. I'm not sure about the spread pattern. I'm not sure if anything changed. But again, in PvE, something like this, especially if you're doing, Unstoppable, being able to hit somebody and let them roll, it'd be an okay fusion rifle to use. Let's talk about the Exile's Curse. Again, this can come with an Adept form from Trials of Osiris. The main thing I wanted to note here is that it can come with Vorpal Weapon. And with Vorpal Weapon coming on a weapon that allows for Unstoppable mod, being able to, stop an unstoppable target that has a lot of damage and be able to pump out good DPS with Vorpal Weapon would be very solid. Again, it does come with Slide Shot as well. Being able to slide and refill that ammo would be pretty solid. Again, that's the only reason I'm putting it on this list, because you can get Vorpal Weapon on it. Same thing with Hollow Words, a Season of Arrivals fusion rifle. Again, Vorpal Weapon, Surrounded, Slideways, Feeding Frenzy. Again, there are a couple perks here. Again, average at best, but again, if you do have one that has Vorpal and maybe like Feeding Frenzy or Slideways, be able to have the extra damage, to those higher tier enemies. We have the Cartesian Coordinate. Again, this is a random drop. Again, can come with Swashbuckler, can come with Vorpal, has Feeding Frenzy, has Slideways. You can go either way with the damage from Swashbuckler, like stacking up the damage, or you can do Vorpal Weapon for that boss damage as well. Let's talk about some exotics. First up I want to talk about is Merciless. Comes with Converse Momentum, non-lethal hits with projectiles make this weapon charge faster until its wielder gets a kill. Chamber Compensator, Extended Meg, Impetus, reloading immediately after a kill increases weapon damage for a short time, and then fitted stock. So I think this one would be interesting, especially with an Unstoppable mod, being able to aim, get the Unstoppable procced, hit an Unstoppable champion, stun them, and just continue to fire and have it keep vamping up its RPMs. I think that would be kind of interesting with this fusion rifle. I feel like you'd be able to take down those Unstoppable champions a little faster with the fusion rifle like this. And then when you get the kill, you reload and you pretty much get a version of Kill Clip. So I don't see anything wrong with this. Next, we're going to go over the Telesto. Let's run through the perks. Unplanned Reprieve, Fusion Projectiles, attach and detonate with a delayed Void Blast. Projection Fuse, Harbinger's Pulse, multi-kills with this weapon. Immediately reload your equipped kinetic and energy weapons from reserves, and then Polymer Grip. Again, Telesto I think would be an okay option. I would say mostly for crowd control, but it could be the case of the unstoppable champions around a bunch of other enemies, or there's multiple unstoppable champions and you need to stun them, and maybe one of the bolts from, the Telesto hits another target. Maybe that could be something interesting. Let's talk about the toaster. Let's talk about Jotun. So I feel like I don't need to talk about this weapon a lot, but it does come with shield disorient. So if you hit a shield, it does, with solar damage, it does disorient them. Aim Jotun, fire Jotun halfway across the map, hit a target with an unstoppable round. Yeah, it's pretty much my thought. My next question is going to be interesting, whether Vex Mythoclast will work with the Fusion Rifle mod. Technically, it is classified under Fusion Rifle, but it performs more like an auto rifle. Again, let's go over the perks. Time Lost Mythoclast. This weapon fires full auto when it's default firing mode. Arrowhead Break, Volatile Battery, which increases magazine size. Temporal Unlimiter. Pretty much, once you get stacks of overcharge, you can alternate between a linear fusion and an auto rifle with this weapon pretty much. Hand laid stock. Again, my question is, if I use this and it's classified as a fusion rifle, will it give me the unstoppable rounds? I guess we'll figure out when the season begins. Again, one more thought would be 1,000 Voices from the Last Wish raid. It's an exotic, obviously. It's classified under fusion rifle. Will this weapon work with the unstoppable mod? Again, we'll have to see. Since the fusion mod also comes with linear fusions, I wanted to cover a couple of those. So let's talk about the Season of Chosen Threaded Needle Fusion Rifle. Main reason on here is because it can come with Vorpal Weapon, Multi-Kill Clip, and Frenzy. Again, great perks here. We do have Rapid Hit. We do have Auto-Loading Holster. We do have Clown Cartridge as well. So, again, Vorpal. It's thunderstorming outside, by the way. So, Vorpal, in and of itself, could be potentially good. Being able to do a little extra DPS. Again, Multi-Kill Clip, Frenzy maybe. We have a couple options here. Let's talk about the Tarantula. Again, you can get this thing from a random drop. So it can come with Kill Clip, can come with Rampage, can come with Feeding Frenzy. Again, maybe not as good as Threaded Needle, but it is an option. It is Arc, whereas Threaded Needle is Void, so it could be dependent on your activity. Now, there are two exotics I did want to cover. One would be Arbalist. It is a kinetic linear fusion rifle, so that'll be interesting. Let's go over the perks. Again, Compounding Force, fire slugs that cause massive damage to elemental shields of enemy combatants. Again, I think this extended barrel, projection fuse, disruption break, break an enemy shield with this weapon makes them more vulnerable to kinetic damage for a brief time, and then composite stock. So with this being a kinetic linear fusion, this could create an interesting dynamic with other weapons, and if you're in a fire team of 3 taking on unstoppable champions, stuff like that. So I thought this would be an interesting option and just something to bring up just in case if you don't have this exotic or already have it and need to upgrade it. Another linear fusion to bring up would be the Sleeper Simulant. Again, this got a buff as of recent, so its main exotic perk, not even going to describe that because it's like German or something. The weapon's laser over penetrates enemies and refracts off hard surfaces. Polygonal rifling, flared mag while moving target composite stock. Again, very high DPS weapon. It would be able to stun unstoppable champions and drop them with 1 or 2 more shots on this thing. So again, kind of an idea to bring up. Let's talk about some bows that can be slotted with the Overload mod. So again, this can take down Overload champions. Let's talk about Arsenic Bite, the first one, baby. So again, main thing here, Rampage, Archer's Tempo. Easily the best combo here. I highly recommend it. It is a lightweight frame bow, so less draw time, less damage. So we got to keep that in mind as well. But still, not a bad option when it comes to a weapon like this. Let's talk about the Imperial Needle, the Season of the Chosen bow that you can get. Again, this is a lightweight frame. Main thing to note here, it can come with Swashbuckler, can come with Archer's Tempo, can also come with Frenzy. Again, solid options when it comes to this bow, but you got to get the right perks on it, in my opinion. Let's talk about Biting Winds, a Beyond Light bow that you can get from Barracks, and X amount of activities on Europa. So again, can come with Swashbuckler. That's pretty much the only thing here. Swashbuckler, maybe Rapid Hit. Again, this is a kinetic bow compared to the other two, which were energy bows, but still, meh. Let's talk about the Whispering Slab. So we do have Vorpal Weapon, and we do have Swashbuckler. We do have Archer's Tempo. Again, you can use this bow, variety of options, etc., etc. Some notable exotics that I take into consideration would be the Trinity Ghoul. Split Electron, fire an arrow that splits when released, aiming down sights and fully drawing the bow. Both decrease the spread. Again, high tension string, compact arrow shaft. Lightning Rod, precision kills grant the next shot chain lightning capabilities. And when you have the catalyst for this thing, any arc kill gives you the lightning rod. So you can pretty much chain lightning, continue to chain lightning adds. Again, this is an overload mod, and it could be helpful in case you miss your shot. You can hit fire, so it does the 3 shots, so maybe you have a better chance of hitting that overload champion when you have the mod active, when you fully draw the bow. So again, definitely something to take into consideration. Another bow to look into would be the teased Divination, the Season of the Chosen Exotic. So it comes with Sacred Flame. Hit firing, this weapon fires multiple tracking projectiles. Targets marked by these projectiles explode upon death or when struck by another Sacred Flame's explosion. Tactile string, straight fletching, and then we have causality bows. Arrows fired while aiming down sights cause Sacred Flames to instantly detonate. Precision hits with perfectly drawn arrows increase the power of this detonation. So also has a catalyst as well that increases the effects. But again, the main thing on here would be the tracking feature. So again, if you're having trouble hitting an overload mod, being able to have the auto tracking hip fire arrows could potentially, it could be pretty solid depending on the activity. Let's move on to the next weapon section would be the pulse rifles. Again, they're going to be getting unstoppable pulse rifle. First one up is Season of Arrival's Cold Denial pulse rifle. Pretty solid perks overall. You can get Swashbuckler and multi-kill clip paired with Feeding Frenzy. I'd highly recommend it. This is a high impact pulse rifle. It's always been pretty solid across the past couple of seasons. It can randomly drop. Highly recommend keeping one if you have a pretty solid PvE roll. Next, we have a new Monarchy pulse rifle called the Geon 7. Again, random drop, but it can come with something like Rampage. We also have Swashbuckler in the other column. We don't really have any reload perks to speak of, but again, we do have full auto, Grave Robber, Disruption Break. Again, Swashbuckler paired with Grave Robber would be great. But again, if you have one that has a solid roll on it, maybe keep it. It's up to you. Next, let's talk about the Stars and Shadows. This is a PvP exclusive drop pulse rifle. And again, we have a multitude of perks here. And unfortunately, the only damaged ones here is Kill Clip. But you can pair that with Outlaw, you can pair that with Feeding Frenzy, pair that with Surplus. But again, the only reason I brought this up is because you can get Kill Clip. It does come with Vorpal, but that's not going to do anything on something like a primary weapon here, in my opinion. It is high impact, just like Cold Denial, but the perk pool is huge. So if you end up getting one with Kill Clip, maybe keep it, but everything else I would just recommend scrapping. Next, we have the Time Worn Spire, which is the Iron Banner pulse rifle. It can come with Rampage, which will be very solid. Can come with Feeding Frenzy, can come with Subsistence, which I have a Feeding Frenzy Rampage one. Actually, this is a rapid fire pulse rifle. Again, it comes from Iron Banner, so you will have to play PvP to get this thing. But again, if you don't have a pulse rifle, this could be a good option for you. Now, let's talk about the Messenger. This is the Trials of Osiris pulse rifle, which you can get a depth version of this as well. And the two main perks here, again, you can get Kill Clip, but the main thing here is Desperado. Reloading after a precision final blow increases your rate of fire. So pairing this with something like Rapid Hit or Outlaw is going to be phenomenal, getting that fast reload off, being able to get that extra fire rate from Desperado. You pretty much just upgraded this pulse rifle from high impact to rapid fire. So that'd be the only reason I would have one. I actually have a PvE one that's Outlaw Desperado with like a pendant mag and something like that. It's not a PvP roll because I have a better PvP roll, but with this, yeah, could be a solid option. Next, I want to bring up this Vanguard pulse rifle that you can get called the Third Axiom. Now, you can get multi-kill clip and you can get Rampage, which are some good damage dealing perks here. Again, pair that up with something like Feeding Frenzy, Subsistence, could potentially be good, but again, the perk pool here is huge, so the odds of you getting a solid roll is less than average, but if you do get a good one, I'd highly recommend keeping it. Going over Season on the Splicer, you can get the Grid Skipper. Again, you can get this from Override, you can get this from Expunge missions, etc., etc. You can get multi-kill clip, and you can get Frenzy. You could potentially get Adrenaline Junkie if you have a good like grenade build, then maybe use it, but I'd highly recommend multi-kill clip or Frenzy. Pairing that up with something like Slideways is going to be phenomenal, or maybe even heating up as well. But still, this is rapid fire, comes with some good perks. You have a chance of getting it a lot now before the end of the season. I would try to get it. Let's talk about the Last Perdition. This is a Crucible pulse rifle. Can come with Kill Clip, Rampage. Again, great options. We do have Outlaw for the really fast reload. Again, if you have I have an Outlaw Rampage one, and it works out very well, especially in something like PvE. I'd highly, highly, highly recommend trying to get one of these. I like it. It's adaptive frame. It feels pretty solid overall. Has good range. Slaps some targets around. So keeps you away from the close quarters combat situations too. So if you get a good roll, I would try to get it. Now let's talk about some noteworthy exotics. First would be the Outbreak Perfected. Let's talk about it. The corruption spreads. This weapon creates Sieve and nanite swarms on rapid hits and precision kills. Extended barrel. Accurized rounds, outlaw. Then parasitism. This weapon does more damage to enemies based on the number of SIVA nanites that attach to them. Again, this does have a masterwork as well, which allows for more nanites. So the cool thing is with the nanites is that if you're aiming down sight and the nanites hit a target, I believe it does stun them. So if you do have something like Unstoppable Champions, being able to stun them constantly over and over again with your SIVA nanites is going to be phenomenal. So especially if it spreads to other Unstoppable Champions, even other targets as well, being able to have that crowd control is going to be very, very solid. Next option would be something like Bad Juju. Again, let's go over the perks. String of Curses. Kills refill the magazine, increase damage for a short duration, and grant super energy based on the strength of String of Curses, and fires full auto. Hammerforged Rifling, steady rounds, hip fire grip, short action stock. Also comes with a masterwork. So, again, maybe this isn't something specifically used for the Unstoppable Champions to continue using for DPS, you know, like Outbreak Perfected, but being able to have this thing in PvE in general, getting multiple kills, chaining those kills, you can get your super very, very quickly. So maybe this is something to think about when it comes to PvE. Lastly, in the pulse rifle section, let's talk about No Time to Explain. Rewind again. Precision shots and shots against combatants slowed or frozen by stasis will return to the magazine. Fluted barrel, accurized rounds. Then we also have Time Slip. Add 10 stacks of rewind again. A small portal will open shooting bullets from an alternate timeline version of this weapon. Precision hits extend the portal's duration. Then we have full auto trigger system, and then a catalyst for the No Time to Explain as well. So again, same thing here. Being able to, you know, get those multiple hits, get the time slip active, being able to aim down sight, being able to stun the champions could be something good. Again, if you're consistently hitting precision shots, you get those shots back. If you're rocking a stasis subclass, anything frozen, you get those shots back. Again, it could be something interesting to look into to potentially use for an Unstoppable mod. Lastly, let's cover the sidearms that can be paired with the Unstoppable Sidearm mod. So first up, let's talk about the Keening. This is a PvP sidearm that can drop. Again, it can come with multi-kill clip. No other damage perks, unfortunately. It has a huge perk pool, so you getting multi-kill clip is very slim. But I did want to put this on here. If you do have a role that has multi-kill clip, this could be good for ad control and then also stunning Unstoppable Champions. Let's talk about Lonesome. Again, this used to be a gambit drop. Now it's a random drop. It can come with kill clip, swashbuckler, and multi-kill clip. Again, something like Outlaw and Rapid Hit as well. Potentially even pairing Swashbuckler with Rapid Hit would be good as well. So you do have a couple of damage dealing perks. You have some reload perks as well. Again, the sidearm drops fairly often, so you getting a solid roll on this is highly likely. Going over one of my personal favorite sidearms at the moment, the Brass Attacks. Again, this is aggressive frame, so it's a 2-round burst sidearm. Again, damage-wise, you have Rampage and Frenzy, both great perks. Feeding Frenzy, Rapid Hit, Threat Detector. Again, good perks on this as well. And you can farm it, Season of the Chosen, Battlegrounds, you know, turning in Umbral Engrams. Again, you can get a solid roll on the sidearm. With Season of the Splicer, we do have a sidearm called the Farewell. Frenzy, multi-kill clip, potentially even Adrenaline Junkie. Then we also have something like Subsistence as well. Again, it's a lightweight frame, but you can get some pretty solid perks on this sidearm. Let's talk about the 7 Seraph sidearm. Now, again, not really any crazy damage dealing perks. Vorpal, Dragonfly, Surrounded. I do have a Dragonfly Demolitionist paired up together, which can be really good. And it can also come with Auto-Link Holster, Threat Detector. But the main thing here, again, is to be able to create those Warmind cells if you have a Warmind cell build. The returning future Roll Cult sidearm, the Vision, is back. And it can come with some solid perks against Swashbuckler. We have Kill Clip. We have Ambitious Assassin, Surplus, Grave Robber. Again, we have multiple options here for a potentially good PvE role for an Unstoppable sidearm. So maybe look into this one. Exotic-wise, there's already a sidearm that does Unstoppable, which is the Devil's Ruin, so you wouldn't need the mod, but potentially even look into the exotic for, again, the current season of the Splicer, the Cryosthesia. So let's go over the purse. LN2 burst, variable trigger, press and release to fire individual shots, hold to fire a charge shot when liquid cooling is active. Again, we have polygonal rifling, particle repeater, and then liquid cooling. Final blows of this weapon enable a charge shot for a short duration. Targets hit with this shot are instantly frozen at the cost of the weapon's entire magazine. Then Palmer Grip also comes with a catalyst. So again, being able to get a kill and freeze a target. Again, this could be something interesting if you're going up against multiple champions. You know, getting a kill and then, you know, freezing a target, stunning a champion. Again, I feel like there could be a cool dynamic, especially with the catalyst, because whenever you get a frozen shatter kill, it automatically reloads the magazine. So pairing it up with a stasis subclass could potentially be interesting as well. So we'll just have to see next season. Now that you're at the end of the video, if you believe that I added some value or entertainment to you, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it out if you'd like to any social medias that you have. Also, be sure to join my Discord community so you don't miss out on anything. We have gamers and streamers that play on a variety of platforms, and again, the link to my Discord is in the description below. There are multiple ways to support me, whether it's monetarily through Twitch, my merch, my business, etc., or you can just come out to the live streams, interact with my content on social media. For my gaming content, I'm on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And for my personal content, I'm on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Plus, I have my own podcast that's available on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, pretty much everywhere that you listen to the podcast, where I cover mindset and success principles and have some guests on occasionally. The links for literally everything are in the description below. And lastly, if you're looking for a clan to join, we have some spots left in my clan, the D1 Fire Team. If you request to join, I'll let you in myself, and the link for that is also in the description below. All right, I'm out. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch you in the next one.